South Pole, Alex Honnold's free solo climb of El Capitan, and even Ewan McGregor's epic motorcycle ride around the world. None of the aforementioned stories are any more courageous than Kevan's. Imagine being confined to a wheelchair for most of your life. Imagine those wheels being your only means of transportation. Other than sleeping or riding in a car, that nest is more or less your constant home, your one safe place. Now, imagine saying goodbye to it for weeks on end and placing all your trust in a group of friends who have agreed to literally carry you around for weeks on end to places that, to you, are as inaccessible as the South Pole or the bowels of the Amazon. Kevan is the intrepid sea captain, and his band of brothers is the mighty vessel that carries him into the unknown. If that's not courage, I don't know what is. But as I said earlier, this journey isn't just about Kevan. It's about those who heaved him onto their backs and bore him for miles and miles, all in the name of friendship, camaraderie, adventure, faithfulness, and a mad scheme to experience this big, beautiful world God made. This story is like the inverse of the photo I took with Kevan all those years ago. They lifted him up and looked at the sky, not with agony, but with joy. The life of Kevan. Kevan and his friend Ben came to my house in Nashville not long ago with the fabled Yoda backpack. Kevan wanted to see the Warren, this little property where I live. It's not huge, but we have a few acres of woods where I've cut trails over the years. He asked if I'd take him on a tour, and once again, before I knew it, I had agreed and was hefting him onto my back. I'm not sure how much he weighs, but after about 10 minutes of hiking, it felt like 300 pounds. I kept walking under branches that were a bit too low, and he would gently inform me that he was being poked in the eye by a hackberry branch. By the time we circled back to the chapter house, my little writing cabin, I was out of breath and dripping with sweat. With Ben's help, I eased the backpack to the floor and then flopped into the chair, pretending not to be winded. Apart from the leaves stuck in his hair and the minor scratches from low-hanging branches, Kevan was happy as Peter Pan. I mentioned this episode to remind you as you read this book what a feat it was for these men to carry Kevan for miles through Paris, or along the English footpaths, or, astonishingly, up the winding stone stairs of Skellig Michael. I couldn't have done it, I tell you, no matter how persuasive Kevan is. These guys are heroes. I also tell you this because of what happened next. In the chapter house, just behind the door, is a wall full of signatures. Whenever someone hangs out with me in there, I ask them to sign it as a sort of guest book documentation. I asked Kevan to add his name. I didn't know the best way to accommodate him, so I turned him around in the Yoda backpack and gave him a pen. He signed the wall about 3 feet from the floor, well below all the other signatures. I immediately regretted not lifting him up so he could sign where everyone else did. But I tried to play it cool. I offered the pen to Ben, and without a thought, he bent low and signed his name next to Kevan's. When my friend Jason Gray came over a few weeks later, I told him how beautiful and Christ-like it was that Ben's instinct was to add his name next to Kevan's, and Jason immediately grabbed the pen and did the same. Now there's a cluster of names below all the others, in a place of honor right next to Kevan's. Truly I tell you, unless you change and become like little children, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven. Therefore, whoever takes the lowly position of this child is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven. Jesus said that, you know. Lord, teach us to love like Ben, like Jason. Let us stoop to join our friends, and by doing so, to lift them up. It was such a small thing.